And as the first speaker will be Jaroslav Nechyba, Director of BIM Concept Department, the Czech Strategy, and the title is BIM in the Czech Republic.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on my presentation about the Czech BIM strategy. I will try to give you really brief information what we are doing actually in the Czech Republic under the governmental BIM strategy. I divide my presentation to two parts. The first will be dedicated to, let's say, general overview, what we are doing. And the second part of my presentation will be dedicated to special topic, which we are calling Construction Common Digital Language, which we think that's one of the most important improvements about digitizing the whole construction industry. When everybody starts doing any activity, it's always nice to know why we are doing that. And I put on this slide some of the reasons why we should be focusing on start to digitize our processes, digitize our organization, because we need to have much more efficient way to work with the actual data and information. And it's quite clear that it's impossible to do that with emails and Excel. So it's quite interesting to imagine that, let's say, next week you will not be working anything with the Microsoft Excel and emails. Can you imagine your work? Well, if not, it's really the last time. It's really crucial to start thinking about digitizing and doing something, because those two tools, which is mostly used in construction industry in Czech Republic, and I believe that it's similar in other countries as well, it's really heavily used, and it's really the break point to move to something more efficient. On this slide, you can see just the, let's say, bullet points about the organization, how we are organized in Czech Republic under the governmental activities. Quite important for us, it's a milestone in July 2023, when it's planned to be BIM mandatory for the public sector for public procurement over, let's say, 5 million euros. And in Czech Republic, we are running the second very important project as well. It's called Digital Building Permits. And actually right now we have the same milestone for that. And it's very, very important to cooperate those two projects between each other, because lots of standards and methodologies are similar and must be related to each other. We are running the central information point under the website. You can see www.conceptcebim.cz. I will be mentioning that website later in presentation as well. So there is a complete set of information which what we are doing, all our outcomes, all our documents are published there. And of course, it's starting to be published there, some kind of the online tool, especially about the digital common language, which I will show you later on. Here is the next slide, where you can see the main domains under our BIM strategy. And we are, of course, very focused on the pilot projects, data standards, but of course we are very focused on topic we can call, let's say, organization strategy plans, or changing the organization to the, let's say, digital way, how they can improve their processes and start preparing own strategy plans to implement BIM into the whole organization, not just into the specific pilot projects. at the very beginning, in 2018, we create our vision and mission as well. So it's always, from my experience, to know what I want to achieve, where is my goal, where I'm going. And I must say it's really valid after 4 years as well, and especially the red bolded line in the mission. I can sign that, sign all those words which are published there, and especially about the information sharing and relation cultivation. It's very, very important to manage that between the partners on all projects, on any projects as well. Our national strategy is developed by us under those main principles. And again, we know how the Czech economy is, let's say, big or small. I think it's quite small under the global measurements. So we need to be focused, use as much as possible from international cooperation and international standards. So the main topic for us is not inventing the wheel again and again. Try to share as much as possible. So that's the main principle, and you can see down in the slide the list of the international standards used in our, let's say, most important outcomes. The mandatory, we communicate from the very beginning as the 3 pillars mandatory. So you can see those 3 pillars, which we see as the common data environment, BIM protocol to manage the contract agreement between all parties under the project, and of course, creating the standardized information model, not just on the project phase, so not just the project information model, but the asset information model as well, because we need to really be focused on the whole life cycle of the buildings and infrastructure, and of course, any other sites. Here on this slide, you can see the current actions area in Czech Republic where we put the most of our energy and expert skills. And again, it's you can see the list of topics which I already mentioned before. They are just bolded. And again, the digital transformation is, we feel that it's one of the most important part of the strategy, because we need to work with the people. Of course, we are focused on the digitized, so the hardware and software and other tools are in play heavily, but we can't forget that we always need the qualified users to use those tools for their better work, better decisions, and those decisions are still made by the humans, by the people. So we need to really to be focused on the organization, on the change, how the organization should be changed, and use efficient way the digital tools. So that's very important for us. You can see as the first topic on that list, and it's really related with the third, for example, the digital process, because lots of organizations are focused just about the information model, how to set up the requirements, how to validate them, but we feel that the most important part to where you can get the efficient from the BIM is to really apply in a common work the digital processes, and that's very important. And on the right side of the slide, you can see the current and the future challenges which we right now see in front of us. Again, at the first bullet, you can see the one of the hardest parts, and it's again related with the people, and it's the application of the international standards into the national and especially social environment, because each country have the specific starting point in that, and everything must be from the international sides or international parts taken to that environment very carefully, and it must be really, really related with specific starting points on that. And you can see the other topics. Again, there is a huge challenge ahead of us by stimulating the public sector organization to create their own individual BIM strategies. This is in this slide. You can see the snapshot from our website. You can see it's a nice designed website. You can check those information on the mobile phone or tablets or whatever. And of course, it's only in Czech language right now. But I feel that with some Google tools, you can translate and to be able to understand it in the basics. This, let's say, diagram I want to show you because we are using this heavily to communicate what that acronym BIM means for us. It's always the information management, because we feel that the information should be managed through the whole life cycle, and you can see all those 3 pillars which is under the mandatory BIM, and how it's related between the project phase and the asset and operating phase as well of those buildings. So this we feel it's really quite a nicely diagram to explain much more in detail everybody what BIM means for them. And this is the second very simple diagram, which is showing the 4 basic steps of organization implementation strategy. It's not any rocket science. It's a very simple implementation of basic principles of project management and change management into the specific topic, again called BIM. So in case we are describing BIM as the information management, it all related together, because project management, change management, and information management are all together one project, and it should be the one strategy for the organization. So again, and we create, you can find on the website as well the simple PDF document. It's about 30 pages or something like that, and it's full of just basic diagrams about how to create more in detail that strategies. And I think that should be very useful, not just for the public sector, but for the private sector as well, because lots of those steps are quite similar. And it's general. So that's the first part, and the second part, just really quick introduction into something which we call the construction common digital language. Again, why we need the digital common language? And that pyramid you can see on the slide, it's not from my head, it's the general knowledge. You can find it everywhere in those 3 levels, and it's really important to do that. And if we want to get on the top of the pyramid, so we need some knowledge, but the knowledge could be based just on the information, and we need to be focused how to manage those information to be valid, to be actual, to be shared, and to be trustful. And all those we can do only by digitizing the processes. And again, we are still in the same circle. This is the most top diagram, how we want to use the construction data standards, which is one of the key part of the digital language. You can see we already translated into the English, so you can better understand those parts which is in this diagram. The most important part of this diagram, of course, is the red part, because that's the common language. And you can see on the left side the procurer, the manufacturers or resellers, and of course the supply chain for the models on the right hand side as well. And you can see all those arrows are from or into that specific red database, which creates and provides all of those parties the same requirements, the same definition, the same terminology. So it's a huge change to be able, every outcome be compared, and of course to be validated. And we are talking about the machine validation, not validation by the humans, because that huge amount of information is impossible to be validated by the humans. It must be machine readable, and it must be machine validated. So that's the main principle of the data standards. Here you can see the snapshot from our website as well. It's still the same website. You can see the domain link there, and when you receive the PDF of this presentation, there will be the active link, so you can check it. This is the Czech standard, so it's just in Czech language, and it's about the templates, data templates, and properties organized under the let's say LOIN principles, which means the level of information needed. And you can see the filter line on the top when you can choose the classification system for the data templates, the actors' roles and their roles. Of course, as well you can pick the milestones for which you need the information requirements, and of course the purposes or the use cases. That's the fourth part of the level of information needed. And after that, you can choose search, and the online tool will pick up you just the needed information for the specification you input in that top line. The second part of the common language is the classification system. We choose for our piloting and validating the classification system called CCI. We already, with our partners and friends, create the international organization. You can see the logo of that organization on the right side of your presentation. It's active link again. You can see the website of that organization, and you can find there lots of more detail. So it's the international project. You can see this site is in Czech and in English as well, because we use English language as the common language for our communication and for defining the standards and the classes and all what we need around the classification system. What is again important, very important for us around the classification system is that the tables and the classes are again heavily involved, heavily focused on international standards. You have them listed on the previous slides. If you need some detailed information, and of course much more detailed information you can find on the website of this organization. What is very important about the digital language, it's the collaboration with the Czech market about the software solutions. We actually right now running 2 or 3 work groups for the different part of the life cycle, and for the different tools which must be and can be used. So one of them are the CAD providers or CAD vendors. You can see their logos. We give them the space on the website to give the supply chain the information how they are applying that construction data standards into their solution using some add-ons or plugins or something like that. And similar activities they are starting to do for the classification system CCI as well. So it's very important to communicate and cooperate with the market to get those things really in use for the supply chain. And that's the last slide. We are at the end of the presentation. So what are the conclusions about the digital common language. It's clear at the beginning. It's a really long-term project, and it will never end because it will be still need to be updated and managed. It's very important to be brave enough, because we need to change a lot of our habits. We need to change a lot of processes around how data is provided. It's shared between different partners on the projects. Again, the main principle I explained before, call it LOIN. It's the EN standard. It's not nothing which is developed in Czech, and we feel that it should be the part of the common understanding, not just for the Czech market, but for the whole European market as well. And the other bullets you can read by yourself, but again, the last favorite bullet, it's clear again. We will never do that with the Excel tables. So we need to avoid Excel tables as much as possible and start learning to use databases and start learning the software solutions which are based on the database. So structured data in open formats. That's what we really need to do right now. So that's really the end of the presentation. This is the last claim, which we feel that it's really let's say the common sense, because humans decide to digitize everything, so the construction sector cannot stay out of this movement. So thank you very much for your time and attention, and I will be more than happy to see you live in some other events. Thank you.
Muszę powiedzieć, że
I need to say that together with Dariusz, we are impressed by the speed and extent of implementation in the Czech Republic. Congratulations, and we will have an opportunity to meet Mr. Nechyba later. But let me remind you that you also have the option to ask your questions using the chat, and by the end of this session we will have a Q&A session, and we will ask the questions to the participants. They will be available online, and after the break we will meet all the speakers in the discussion panel.